Welcome to episode 2 of whatever the fuck this is going to be. We're back.
Probably nothing.
It's only been a month. Life happened for me at least, and also Snail for some reason.
No,
So,
life didn't happen to me. Nothing happens. There was
what do you
just
mean?
nothing to talk about.
Yeah, that
It's
is true.
December in the motorsport world. You couldn't have picked really a worse time to start this podcast.
Listen, it's not
I'm just
my
gonna say it.
fault.
It is entirely your fault. This was your idea.
Well, you're joined in on this and you're stuck with me, so good luck.
Fuck.
But yeah, we just recently had Mexico City, Mexico for Formula E, and it was actually really good. Surprisingly, no chaos, as in no red flags, which I had jokingly called beforehand in at least a text chat between myself and the nerd TM, where it's like, what are the odds of having two races with two red flags in a row? Fortunately,
I mean,
that didn't happen, but it would have been funny.
yeah, it would have been. At least assuming it didn't end up like last week, where somebody was upside down, and that did not happen.
Yeah, which also, I wonder, we'll see if I can do this as well. I'm going to maybe hopefully attempt to do intercuts. If you see actual video, then YouTube won't snipe me from the internet for using footage. But
I mean, it's also possible that just because nobody's gonna be listening to this, nobody's gonna see it regardless of whether they snipe you or not.
yeah, it's true. But even still,
I mean, you never know. You never know.
if I can put it in, and if YouTube doesn't delete it, then you will see the uh possible reaction to me being like, well, it didn't take long for them to use the footage of Pascal Verlaine's flip and the first race of the season for Mexico, which was a.
Well, you know.
I get that he's okay, but I said this like during the time that you and I were talking as well. But it's like I get it because he's fine, but also like, come on, that doesn't happen all the time. Come on, I don't like it. It's not NASCAR. Like they can use the footage all they want, but not Formula E. I feel like the racing action would be a little bit better.
Yeah, you know, you gotta draw people in.
Yeah, speaking of racing action, it was actually really good this week. I enjoyed it, and surprisingly, like a lot of stuff. There's a little bit of minimal things during the weekend, as far as I know, but we are skipping practice and qualifying, most qualifying, because we would be here forever if we did an overview of the entirety of practice and qualifying and then the race. So we'll do snippets of qualifying and then
We
the
we learned
race.
our lesson. We learned our lesson from last month. We're not doing that again.
Yeah, it did not go well for editing. So a snippet of qualifying, very short version. Not much happened actually.
Pascal Verlaine got pole as everybody thought he would.
Yeah, it was actually against DaCosta in the finals as well, where DaCosta actually, I think he screwed up. It was the apex of turn 5, the double right-hander, effectively. So, big sad, and I think you made the joke of DaCosta washed, which he's
I
not the
did, yes.
champion. I don't know if I said this, but he's not the champion, so it doesn't count.
Oh, you have to be the champion to be washed. Okay.
Yeah, so Verline
Let me
washed,
go.
but we'll get to
Let me go
that.
back in time to when Verlaine flipped, so I can say that he was washed.
That's true. God damn it. But it was pretty good for the race. They did not make any changes to the track once again, although it is kind of weird because I think they like redid the stadium section again in Mexico or something. Because I remember they did it last year, like they did a paved section, and I guess they like resurfaced it again, and it was kind of strange. It looked weird. I know that it was like kind of glossy more than usual. I'll throw up a photo if I can of just what the stadium section looks like. But in the meantime, lap one. Surprisingly, everyone made it through turn one. Shocking, considering
That
the.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, I'm still. I could be wrong, but I still even think with like, as long as that opening corner has existed, I don't think anyone has clipped that inside wall. But I could be wrong. At least in the time that I've watched, I don't remember that.
One of these days.
One of these days, it might happen. But lap one, there actually was chaos in lap one, but it was in the stadium section where, luckily, it seemed to be pretty full. I would say sold out, but I don't have the data for that. But Maloney and Hughes both attempt to pass Tictum at the exact same time in the stadium section, and then Tictum gets turned, gets some sort of damage. I don't know if it was the front wing or not, but he does pit in lap two, and then he just never fully recovered from that. But anyway, at some point, Tictum surprisingly did not get lapped, actually. The closest he was to getting lapped was about, I think it was a minute and 11 seconds far back, and they decided to not use the attack mode until like the very end, which is a decision when you're basically dead last, but well, was dead last, but we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
The usual standard racing stuff throughout lap 7, until Sam Bird slightly nudges Edo Mortara on lap 7, and then gets a 5-second time penalty, which is very sad, but I'm going to have to look at the incident one more time to actually judge that. Let me do that really quickly, actually. Because I had that pulled up, and I want to make sure I have this correct. Because I think it was just a nudge, right? Yeah, it was. Okay, so yeah.
It seems very excessive, which I think might have something to do with the fact that it took them nearly half an hour to come to the decision.
Yeah, so I'm looking back at it. We'll see if I can throw it up. Blah blah blah. It was literally just a nudge to Mortara. It may have given him a puncture because the nose of Sam Bird's car did make contact with the right rear tire of Mortara. But even then, like as far as my understanding is, like the FIA should be like penalizing based off of the not the consequences, but just the action itself, which I would personally deem a racing incident. There's so much contact that happens in Formula E so often. Like front wings get deleted about half the time in the season, so a 5-second penalty for a nudge, and then the consequence of Mortara pitting is very interesting. And like you said, the document was filed at 14:09, so 2:09 p.m. Local time, and then the decision was at 14:33 or 2:33 p.m., which was basically like almost when the race was over.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there it is. It took that long to review that? That's the whole race.
Kind of crazy. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That seems excessive.
So I don't know why it took them so long to come up with that decision. It was.
I'm going to assume that it was just because they had a pretty lengthy debate, probably in the stewards' room, about whether this was really a penalty or not.
I don't think it was. I don't get it.
There's nothing. I can't see another pathway for it to take that long. Nothing else was happening. As far as Formula E goes, it was actually a pretty tame race.
Yeah, there's actually like no debris sitting on the racing line. Shocking. Well,
F1 could never.
There's actually a little bit of like a small piece, but I think it was off track and it was from Tictum probably. So anyway, speaking of contact, more contact was made with lap 28/lap 29, depending on when you want to look at it. Lap 28 into the stadium section where Beckman and Degrassi made contact entering the opening corner of the stadium section, that first right-hander. And at least the stewards agreed with what you're thinking, and kind of what I started to understand afterwards, is that it was just a racing deal, because Degrassi tried to go for a gap that we've seen dive bombs like that before. Well, I'll say dive bombs. Pass attempts is the more accurate term, because Degrassi probably made that.
Fuck accurate. It was a dive bomb.
All right, fine. Dive bomb attempted for a corner, and then Degrassi bonks David Beckman, and I think broke the right front, probably the, I want to say tie rod, because that's a different series. He broke the right front, and Beckman couldn't steer, and then safety car deployed for, shockingly, only one lap. And when the safety car was deployed, that was a minute after Oliver Rowland had taken attack mode, his last one as well, which was 6 minutes.
At this time, if we have the recording of it, I don't know if we do. At this time, we were very much shitting on Nissan's strategy. We thought they were fucked.
Yeah, we had no idea what Nissan was thinking about. I'll see if I can do hopefully I should be able to. If not, I'll do like the audio and just images, but insert hopefully maybe audio/footage of our reaction to Nissan here. A lot of drivers would literally have to take it right now.
Yeah. Taylor Barnard wouldn't have
7
to
laps
take it
is
now, 'cause
cutting
he's only
it
got
though.
4. Taylor Barnard could take it technically as late as lap 32. Sam Bird, don't go to last challenge, impossible. Oh, yellow flag.
Of course. Oh, Beckman. Safety car?
If he can get going again, no, but if not, this could screw over everybody.
Wait, no, Rowland just took attack mode.
Oh, God. If this is a safety car.
Guys.
Rowland, no.
Please tell me we can get going. This is the one time I don't want a safety car, please. Wait. So it is a sector yellow.
Okay, but he's still not. He's still sitting there. That's not good.
I'd safety car that one. There it is.
Ah, there it
God
is.
damn it.
Roland is fucked.
They should have gone for at least a lap sooner. Not that we've done much, but even then. And if it's not here, I blame YouTube, so we'll see how that fares. But
If it's not here, I blame you.
listen, it's not my fault that they're so... We're not even monetized. What are they going to get from me? My channel is not monetized and it never will be. There's no way they're getting a penny out of me. But I'm still very surprised that it was only a one-lap safety car. And I'll get to a certain ruling in a bit once we get to the end of this, because there's one more bullet point to make, which is Mitch Evans had made contact with Nico Mueller. Actually, like, climbed over the left rear a little bit. Like, some sizable contact went into the air. And then safety car again for only a lap. And, well, I'm skipping over a lot because I'm doing the major stuff. So let's back up here to lap 28. You were saying?
There wasn't too much to talk about. Like, in comparison to last time, there really just wasn't too much.
Yeah, there were like 5 million red flags on the first race of the season, so we didn't have much. But for this one, let's back up to lap 28. So Beckman and deGrassi make contact. By this point, Nissan has had Roland take the last attack mode. I don't see the front wing kind of attached on the left side, so...
Also chills the front of the car.
Bro.
You didn't even hit the wall?
Man, deGrassi chucked it into me.
What?
What is Lola doing? That's the second time today.
Oh. Wow.
Oh my god.
No, you can't not know he's kind of there, but even still, that is a bit ambitious.
Okay, yeah.
But deGrassi didn't wash out wide to the wall, so I mean, that's a difficult one.
That's a racing incident.
That's a very
they
difficult
are
one.
very much at fault. I don't think you give them both penalties for that.
Yeah,
I feel like
I was a bit concerned because Roland was in his last attack mode. At the restart, Roland had about a minute 10 seconds left, so basically one qualifying lap worth of attack mode left to get to the lead, which he does. And by the time he completes the pass for the lead, Evans had made contact with Mueller in the background, and the safety car was deployed again. Which, to my utter actual delight, which is the most I've rooted for anybody in a while, which I just absolutely love the timing of. So, insert maybe, hopefully, footage here of that. Suddenly.
deGrassi hasn't used any of it.
That's lap. Wait, hold on. What? Huh? What?
Okay, sure.
You mean like right now?
Do they? Yeah, I think.
Or is it next lap? There's no way it's right now. Oh, it is. Okay.
All right.
Oh, that seemed a lot faster than I thought it would be. Props.
I think we'll maybe get 38 laps total. I think. So just maybe.
Maybe 37.
Maybe.
Wait, Roland still has attack mode. He still has attack mode.
He has a minute. He has a minute. And you know what?
External. There he goes. No shot. This works out. I'll take a podium at least.
I mean, not to mention the fact that Taylor Barnhart he's going to hit it this time, no doubt.
He would literally have to anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, he's God. No.
Unless they want to get disqualified too.
He's there.
Oh my God.
No way.
Oh.
No way.
He's got it.
This may have just worked out for Nissan. We had our doubts, but it might have worked. Oh my God, it did.
Nissan. No. That's contact.
That's still in limits. That's still in track limits.
He's got it. Yep.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
No fucking way.
I'm saying it right now. Roland for driver of the day.
Yes. Yes.
Another one. Wait, what? Apparently DaCosta already won. Fucking driver of the day, driver of the race. I think that's just who's winning now.
Oh my fucking God. Okay. What happened? No, it's the same. It's the same setup.
Is it?
Yeah.
I feel like almost certainly what will happen is Taylor Barnhart, if he has like
replay
5 or
angle
6
to ever
seconds.
show. There we go. Did he hit the wall?
I think he clipped it like slightly maybe. And like
Oh.
Oh. That's not a wall. That's an Andretti.
That's a car. So after all of that chaos, we have come to the conclusion of the race where there were no added laps. And I should have brought up the actual... I looked at this during the time as well, but apparently, if you have a safety car, I think it's within the last 80% of a race, you don't get added laps. That's just a rule, apparently.
Strange, but
I think it makes
guess it works.
sense because it doesn't allow for teams to kind of hijack, or not hijack, but have a race manipulation. That's the phrase I'm looking for. I think that's why that ruling exists. In the event of a quote-unquote software issue, where, say, driver number 2's car just happens to stop on the racetrack, oh no, but driver 1 is in the lead and hasn't taken attack mode yet for however long, I think that's why that ruling exists. And apparently there is a reference lap as well, but I don't think we have access to that as in the public. So there's a reference lap to, let's say, like a minute 30 seconds of safety car. Each lap would then equate to, not equate to, but like it would equate to one lap if that goes over like 4.5 minutes or something like that. It's very strange, and we didn't get added laps in the first place.
it is a very strange system, and that's just kind of what you get when you get strange rules like added laps. It's a good rule, but it's undoubtedly strange.
Yeah, but I like it because it makes it fun and chaotic.
Yeah,
So
that's for sure.
the finishing order was then it was
David Beckman and Mitch Evans did not finish. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, who could have seen that one coming? In fact, let me do this, where I will bring this up. The initial finishing order at the time of the race, so like right as the race finished, was Roland, DaCosta, Verline, Dennis, Sean-Eric Verne, and Max Gunther. Great day for DS Penske. They kind of stealthed their way up to 5th and 6th, actually. Nice. Van Dorn, De Vries, Mueller, and Barnard in the top, through the top 10. And then 11th to 20th was Hughes, Friens, Buemi, Cassidy, Nato, DeGrassi, Mortara, Maloney, Tictum, and Bird. Evans and Beckman, of course, didn't finish. However, 4 drivers had some form of time penalty.
Yay!
Yeah, of course, we already know that Sam Bird had a 5-second time penalty, but he finished in
Sad
20th.
papaya noises.
Yeah, he finished in 20th, and I don't know why, but even more sad papaya noises because
Yeah, the 2 points that Taylor Barnard would receive for coming in 10th, again the fastest lap, would be completely negated by a 5-second time penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage.
when we thought it was going to be because it was the timing of the attack mode right at the very end, no, it was track limits out of everything he
Everybody's
could have
favorite.
done.
Everybody's favorite. Everybody loves track limits.
Oh, man. I'm actually, like, sad about that, too, because it's like, they were so close. It was right there. But Buemi and Mortara both had a 10-second time penalty for failing to complete their second attack mode time before the finish line. And DeGrassi didn't even activate the second attack mode, so he got a drive-through penalty at the end, which was then converted to a 27-second time penalty.
It is worth
Yay.
noting, technically speaking, that it's supposed to be a disqualification, so not entirely sure what happened there.
So for me, that's what I was going to touch on. That's why I waited until this. So my understanding was actually incorrect. When I was thinking back to Valencia when like half the grid wasn't classified, the reason was actually because it's if you run out of power, then you get disqualified. That's what it is. So if you like reach like the end of your battery life before the start finish line and you still cross the start finish line, you're not racing under power, you're just coasting. So get out, basically. So that's what I was thinking about the whole time. I got that mixed up. Oops.
It'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, so the actual finishing order from 1st to 20th is Roland, DaCosta, Verline, Dennis, Verne, Gunther, Van Dorn, De Vries, Mueller, and Hughes in the top 10. Then it's Friens, Cassidy, Nato, Barnard, Maloney, Tictum, Buemi, Bird, Mortara, and DeGrassi in the 11th through 20th. And Mitch Evans and David Beckman go nowhere because they still didn't finish. Of course, Verline got pole. The interesting thing that I learned as well through looking at this document is that there is a fastest lap category, and then there's a fastest lap in the top 10 category, which I didn't know existed. But Dennis gets the extra point, apparently. So, yay.
Sure.
I guess that's how that works. Might as well. Why not? And then we move on to the driver and then team standings. I'm going to start the team standings first because it's funnier that way. Especially considering that Tag Heuer Porsche have a combined 58 points compared to McLaren's 27.
Sad the fire noises.
I am slightly concerned that this is how Porsche is kicking off the season, and I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, we're Formula One fans. You can't pretend like this is anything we're not used to.
Yeah, but at least we get actual points battle, so I mean, could be worse. Jaguar and Nissan are tied for third ? And or third and fourth place at 25 points. And then Mahindra somehow have 22 points. They're fifth in the standings. I don't know how, because I don't remember Mahindra being this much of a point-scoring team. But you know what?
I
More
would
power
like
to
to point
them.
out. I would like to point out. I believe technically Jaguar holds the advantage over Nissan due to tiebreakers. I don't know what
That's
tiebreakers are
right.
off the top of my head, but I vaguely remember something about that.
Well, considering this race, let's see, versus Nissan, it might be just general finishing order. But at the same time, Roland finished in first and Nissan scored in second. They've got the same amount of points. Jaguar got 25 points in the first race of the season, and then Nissan got 25 points in the second race of the season. So it's just kind of a what have you at the moment, I guess.
Sure.
In sixth place is DS Penske with 20 points. I don't know how they got there, and like I touched on, they got fifth and sixth somehow.
That's how they got there.
Okay, listen.
I mean,
I am aware. After the 2 points they got in the first race of the season, you know what? I think that's a win. That works for them. So good for them. They're starting to move up in the standings. Andretti Formula E has 15 points. They didn't score any in the first race, and they scored 15 points in this round, thanks to Dennis being the absolute powerhouse that he is. I was hoping he could get the podium spot. He was not able to, but
I would like to say I'm still of the opinion that Penske absolutely blew a chance at a win there. I think Jake Dennis absolutely could have won that race.
you mean Andretti?
Well, specifically Jake Dennis, but yes.
You said Penske.
Did I? Oh,
Yes.
I'm stupid.
Wrong
I'm
team.
fucking stupid. Is this really news?
But I do agree that they did have a solid chance of Dennis getting at least a podium, but then that didn't happen. So it will outlive them for at least another race. Maserati have a whole 8 points, 1 point first race, 7 points in this one. They're eighth in the standings. Envision and Cooper Kiro scored 6 and 4 points in the first race. They're 9th and 10th. They scored nothing this week. And dead last in the standings is the lowly Yamaha Apt Formula E team.
They seem to be imitating their early 2000s Formula One stint.
Yeah. They're actually, I don't think Lola was even in F1 in the early 2000s. I remember the
I
90s.
don't remember when it was. I'm referencing Lola Mastercard. I don't remember when that was. I thought it was early 2000s.
It might have been. I think it was
When was that?
1997. I
When was
know it
that?
was. I know it was Australia,
Oh,
and they
yeah,
didn't even start.
Fucking, they only did one race. Why did I think? Oh, yeah, it was 97. It was 97 British Grand Prix to be specific.
That's what it was. I don't know why I thought Australia.
No, wait, sorry, I made that up. They're a
No.
British F1 team, not the British Grand Prix. It was the Australian Grand Prix.
Oh my gosh, I was right.
They didn't even qualify. Their cars were more than 11 seconds off the pace.
Yeah, so they just didn't even start. That was like their only outing, and then that was kind of it.
I gotta say, the Wikipedia page for the team is amazing because it says first entry 1997 Australian Grand Prix. Races entered 1, 0 starts. Engines Ford. Constructors Championships 0. Drivers Championships 0. Race victories 0. Pole positions 0. Fastest laps 0. Final entry 1997 Australian Grand Prix did not qualify.
Yeah, but hey, at least they started this season, so they have a chance of getting one whole point.
Can they beat Kick Sauber? That's a real question.
That's a very valid point actually, because Sauber only got 4 points last season.
Yeah, and they were all because of Joe Guan Yu.
Yeah, all 4 of them in the second to last race of the season, I think is what it was, and Qatar.
I believe so, yeah.
So, we'll see the battle of the of the lower teams. We'll see how that fares. Even this season, actually, this will be a fun comparison. But that pretty much does it for Formula E stuff. I'll see if I can intercut anything else in the meantime. But since we, and by we I mean me, I don't want a just like standard YouTube sized or YouTube length video of 23 minutes is what the recording is at right now. We're going on to racing news, and this might be a thing that we'll just do from now on, maybe, probably, depending on the weekend at least. I swear we're not doing just Formula E, we're also doing racing news. I swear.
Once the summer kicks up and everything gets going, we are going to be a lot busier.
It's going to be so many things. Oh my gosh, we're going to have so many things, but yeah.
We're either going to have like 1 3-hour episode every month or like a shorter episode every week. I don't know what the fuck we're going to do.
Chaos, suffer, sadness. Well, it is now time for general racing news, which, shocking, I know, so... Oh boy. Apparently, Aston Martin has done a top-down restructure of some sort, where Andy Cowell is now the new team principal, and, well, I'll let you handle Mike Crack's new job position at Aston Martin.
Yes. Mike Crack. He's been quote-unquote demoted to chief trackside officer. I say demoted because I don't think that's a real job.
It does not sound like a real job at all. Like, that could mean literally anything. Like, do you just sit
really
trackside?
I would like to point out that Andy Cowell, that may be a name you recognize if you play the F1 Manager games, or if you're a fan of Mercedes, because he used to be on their power unit team.
That's why his name is vaguely familiar.
Moving on to the next piece of news, Drugovich, once again, will continue to have his talents wasted as the Aston Martin test and reserve driver.
Bro is just constantly stuck in purgatory. I am so sad.
One of these days he'll end up somewhere, maybe Formula E.
I think this year, either he should be saying either you have me as a driver in 2026 or I'm out. That's what he has to do at this point, I feel like. He's been a reserve driver for Aston Martin since 2022. We are in 2025. We had fucking Stroll beach it in the formation lap in Brazil last year, and he's still in the car. Why?
Daddy's money.
On the fun related note of actually, you know, well, we'll get to this eventually. But first point is that apparently, Alpine are apparently already pressuring Jack Doohan, and I don't know why.
I mean, I don't know what they're expecting from him. That car is going to be awful.
I don't get what they want to get out of him, considering he did only...
I'm guessing they want him to at least be on par or maybe even beat Gasly, but I don't think that's realistic.
I saw I think it was in the Formula 1 subreddit post, I saw something about, like, this is why kind of Alpine are pressuring him, because Doohan has gotten a bunch of test laps at Yas Marina. Fair enough, makes sense, it's a track you know. However, it was his first F1 race as far as I am aware, and FP1 doesn't mean much. Race conditions are different, etc., etc. So I don't know if pressuring him now is a good idea. I think there's rumors where, we'll get into this as well right now, where we have Rio Hirakawa and Franco Colapinto as the reserve drivers for Alpine, and I think it's like Briatore got Colapinto in. He won Colapinto, which is very cool. But I think it's like they're already holding Colapinto over Doohan.
I would like to just say right now, I'm going to call it. I firmly believe that Alpine are going to have Franco Colapinto in that car by the end of the year.
Ooh, really?
I do. I think that. The fact that they're already pressuring Doohan, I don't think that's a good sign for him. Whether it's his fault or not, that's going to put a lot of pressure on him that he does not need.
That is true. I don't think we even went over the actual whole 2025 grid, actually, considering that was all. We didn't actually, no, because that was announced like over the winter break. And
I mean, we can go over that when we do probably an F1 primer next month.
Oh yeah, because that is next month. The test session is next month. Oh, sweet. Okay.
It is indeed.
I forgot about that. Perfect. Awesome. The second thing to look forward to then, for that time span of whenever. But yeah, for Franco Colapinto, apparently, and I will say allegedly, this is based on motorsportweek.com per the commercial director at Bullet Sports Management who manages Franco Colapinto. This is per Maria Catanero. Catanero? Nope, I pronounced that wrong. No, I was right, yeah. Catarino. I'll get that right eventually. But Maria Catarino.
It's like I said during planning, it doesn't really matter. Portugal's not real.
But yeah, apparently for Franco Colapinto, his deal is he's not even on loan from Williams. It is just a straight up 5-year deal with Alpine, which is Wow.
That's why if that's true, that's why I think he's probably not just gonna end up being their reserve driver. I feel like I feel like what happened is they're putting pressure on Duhan almost because I wonder if they maybe want him to fail. I know this is gonna
Oh
sound crazy,
man.
and I'm gonna get start. Get your tinfoil hats ready. You might want to cut this out 'cause I'm about to go on a
Nah.
weird rant. Um, but I just noticed that Franco Colapinto, he steps in Logan Sargent. Everybody starts, oh, he's a rookie. He's not ready for that. And I still firmly believe, I still think those were very valid and justified fears at the time. Obviously, that wasn't true. He was very clearly ready. He was so much better than Logan Sargent. My God. Um, I think at this time when that had happened, I think Alpine already kind of had their minds made up. They were going to give Ocon the boot and give that seat to Jack Doohan. But then they saw Franco Colapinto just kind of there, winning. He's not going to have a seat next year. They already knew that. Carlos Sainz has already signed on to Williams. Fuck it, snatch him up.
Interesting. I do think
I'm very much wearing a tinfoil hat.
no, I kind of understand it though, because
I mean, I
the
know it sounds absolutely
same
batshit insane, but I just
there's still the same pressure with Isaac Hadjar right now and just the entirety of the Red Bull Academy, all like what, 3 of their drivers now that Perez is out. So we have
yeah. I mean,
Sonoda,
they do have 3 academy. They do have 3 official academy drivers. Technically, all 4 are academy drivers if you count the fact that Max Verstappen is
Verstappen, yeah.
technically an academy driver, even though he doesn't feel like it at this point.
He's too busy doing more endurance racing through sim racing stuff, which is really cool,
Yeah,
actually.
you know, Max Verstappen, part-time F1 driver, full-time sim racer.
Gosh, it would be fun to see him do endurance afterwards. I'd like to see that.
I firmly suspect that in like 2028 or so, he will probably go on and do WEC with his dad or something like that.
His dad still races?
I mean, I remember he talked about that. I remember he vaguely talked about wanting to do like the 24 Hours with his dad or something like that.
I know he wanted to. I think it was rumored to be like. I don't know if it was rumor or like a fan hope thing where it was going to be what is it, like Verstappen, Alonso, and Vettel all on one team.
Maybe I don't know. I didn't hear anything about that, but
I think it was just
who
like a
knows?
hopeful thing rather than an actual like rumor or just like a what if. Meanwhile, more racing news. IndyCar, which is now on Fox this year, which I have mixed feelings about, has released their Fastest Racing on Earth ad campaign, which focuses on Joseph Newgarden.
NHRA.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why IndyCar are claiming that it's the fastest racing on Earth. I'll critique the. Here's the thing.
I will say technically IndyCar is the fastest racing series that's not drag racing.
That is, yeah. However, it's not really the most exciting in my opinion. I'm willing to say that. I tried to give it a watch with the new hybrid system when that came in, and by like lap 15 or lap 20 or whatever, the top 20 cars were already a minute apart. That's not exciting. So that's just like, well, I don't know. It's just very strange. I don't know. Anyway, critiquing the actual commercial, it was definitely like focused on Joseph Newgarden solely rather than the actual like series itself, which I don't like. But the comments that the few comments that I've seen, kind of like skimmed over, it's just like, man, this is great. It's more marketing than NBC, which that is true. Yeah, I mean NBC did not do a good job at they did not do a good job at marketing IndyCar, that's for sure.
I will say
However,
no matter your thoughts on IndyCar as a series, it's definitely a good move for them to be back on TV full time instead of having most everything on Peacock.
it's
Because
so yeah.
nobody fucking has Peacock.
Well, I do actually. So
Liar. No, you
I
don't.
I don't use it, but I have it. So that's the state of most Peacock subscribers now, I'm sure. I'm one of them. But I do hope that Fox has actually stepped up their broadcast stuff for IndyCar because the production for NASCAR was not good, and it has not been good for a while. It's actually been declining, I'd argue.
It's better than NBC.
Maybe.
I'm just gonna say it. I prefer to watch NASCAR on Fox over NBC.
I can kind of see that. I don't know. Well, we'll see. Hopefully this year everyone kind of steps up because now NASCAR has this is tangentially related to general racing news. I mean, everyone's known about this by now, but I'll still touch on it where NASCAR is going to be on what, like 5 different TV/streaming services. We
Yeah,
have
something like that.
like Fox, NBC, I think HBO Max, TNT Sports, I think, and I'm missing Amazon Prime. That's one. I think it's literally just all 5 of those. I might be wrong with the HBO Max part, but I think HBO Max is. I mean, I can just look at their website. But in the meantime, it is still very nice. So I hope that this gets
Oh, you know what?
the.
That reminds me, actually. I completely forgot. February 2nd, NASCAR, speaking of, we do have the Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium, so
Oh
that is
gosh.
coming up.
Oh no.
It's better than the fucking Coliseum. You can't pretend it's not.
Yeah, but I have my thoughts on the Bowman Grades complex as a whole.
I gotta say, I'm looking at the NASCAR schedule right now. I think it's very funny how the schedule, it doesn't specify the duels and the 500, so the schedule just looks like it's Bowman Gray, Daytona, 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 Atlanta.
That does specify the duels, at least.
I mean, it will eventually. I just think it's very funny the way it's written right now.
But yeah, so the 2025 networks are Fox/FS1, and then we go over to Amazon Prime for a span of 5 races, then TNT for 5 races, and then it goes back over to the USA network, and then NBC for 1 race for some reason, which is really confusing, and then another string of USA, and then the last 3 races are on NBC. I forget if USA and NBC, or I forget if USA Network is owned by NBC, but switching, I don't like the fact that they like switch back to NBC for like 1 week and then it's back to a string of USA and then it ends with NBC. Like, come on, guys, make up your mind. Like, the Xfinity series is all under the CW. That makes sense. It's consistent. You know where it is. It's not changing. Wait a minute.
I will say,
It
just
is,
like
yeah.
I would like to point out as well that even though I am very much a NASCAR fan, I don't think we'll be covering that very much over the summer, just because there will be too much to talk about with everything else going on.
I just don't like
But we may
watching
cover
it
some of the
anymore.
we may cover some of the big news. I love watching NASCAR. I like my circles.
Imagine liking circles instead of weirdly shaped squiggly lines.
Well, I love the weirdly shaped squiggly lines too. Don't get me wrong.
Well, speaking of the
Circles.
weirdly shaped squiggly lines, Supercross has started this past weekend, and I forgot about that. Oops. I was going to maybe potentially like, cover some of the news and stuff, but I forgot Supercross existed. And I
As
didn't
most
know it's
people do.
gonna I didn't know it's gonna start this past weekend slash well recording this on the 13th, not to date this, but oh well, too late. I'll probably just upload this on Friday or tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. But Supercross has started, and I do want to try and get into watching that. And especially considering that next weekend, January 22nd through the 26th, we have 3 different things happening. Oh my.
3 whole races. Oh my god, it's unbelievable.
I know, a whole 3 races. One of which is a whole 24-hour race. It's a very small race though. It's a Daytona 24. Apparently, it
Oh
might
yeah,
be.
nobody's ever heard of that.
Yeah, it's a small race. They host it at Daytona, but I mean it's not that big of a deal, you know. Not that it's not that important. But I am looking forward to that. I'll see. I don't know the entry list for the Daytona 24 actually. So
A lot of people.
yeah, that makes sense. You know, I'll
I
have
mean,
you talk about
if you don't know the Daytona 24, it's honestly, in terms of the way it's structured, it's fairly equivalent to the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It's a multi-class race around Daytona's road course. Yeah,
That's about it actually.
yeah.
I think they launch fireworks literally like in the middle of the race as well, which is really cool. But I feel
Yeah,
like that'd be
sure.
very distracting.
While on the subject of endurance racing, while we were recording this, the World Endurance Championship did reveal a new Cadillac livery, which I think is beautiful. Wolf, you have not seen it yet.
I have not, so I'm about to do a blind reaction. I'll edit in the image at the exact same time. Click on it in 3, 2, 1, now. I actually have to open this in my browser so I can get a good look at it. Ooh. Oh, because it hurts Team Joda. Okay.
I think it is beautiful.
I'm a bit mixed on it for a couple reasons, but I think it's because it is Joda. So I will let that slide. But I think it's their first move to they're moving to Cadillac too, aren't they? Or have they been on Cadillac? I actually
I
forget.
believe they've been on Cadillac. Not 100% sure.
I do recognize the gold and all that. So
I think it looks good, even if it's not fitting.
I feel like it's bronze. I think is the actual technical term color.
I
Colored
don't know
term.
if you know how to read, but that screenshot I showed you from the TikTok page quite literally says it's bold, it's gold. So,
Well, it's bronze now.
oh, okay.
But let's see. I don't mind the red, but the small bits of yellow are kind of weird in some areas. Maybe it'll grow on me. I think it kind of fades to white in some areas as well, like on the 38 hertz, and then on the side I can kind of see it. So maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. Might be better at a different angle in person. So
It's possible.
not bad.
Moving on to the next kind of big chunk of this episode, we've got World RX and WRC are coming up soon as well.
Yay! I'm actually gonna try and get to watch that as well on Rally.tv for $15 a
I
month.
can't wait for I can't wait for you to forget.
I am probably going to forget.
It is worth noting that if you do not live in America like the rest of us, you may be able to access it through some other ways. It's probably actually on TV or something. God forbid anybody care about rallying in the United States.
Yeah, there's at least two whole people in the U.S. that care about rally.
Maybe someday we'll get that rally in the Smoky Mountains they keep promising.
But otherwise, that's pretty much it. The next race for Supercross. Supercross does weekly races, to my understanding, for the most part. So they're going to be busy this season. And speaking of super, but not cross, V8 Supercars, which I don't know if I'm going to watch. I genuinely have no idea. I'm going to see if I can pull up the schedule here for their 2025 season. It starts the 20th through 23rd of February. It's that weekend. And then one race in March, one race in April, one race in May. They have recently announced a bunch of rules that I actually sent to you a little bit. The actual link itself.
You may have.
Yeah, it was
I'm
like
gonna be honest with you. I didn't. I think actually, yeah, I believe you did. I didn't really pay attention to it because if I'm being honest with you, I'm not gonna watch Supercross.
Supercars, different series. Series.
Oh
V8
yeah, that's no doubt.
Supercars,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I no doubt.
the Aussie one, the one that's only in Australia / New Zealand. Let's see, they did confirm
Wow.
broadcast details. Cool, that's great. Formats and tires explained. Aha, this is an October article, 2024. But they have a whole lot of overhauls and rulings and stuff, and I feel like it's more detrimental because it is a lot to deal with, in my opinion. Like, solely on the... Here's the thing, we have... I'm going to read the bullet points verbatim here. So they have, quote, more racing, more shootouts, less practice in 2025. 2025 season held over 34 races at 13 events. New formats, final system, tires to shake up supercars. The final system is akin to the NASCAR playoff system, minus the win and you're in. Which, I don't know why supercars are doing that in the first place. Maybe it'll be better without a win and you're in system, but I still stick by the fact that there should not be an elimination format in a championship that is not mathematical. It's just not how it works.
Well, you know, I got nothing. I mean, I'll be real with you. I'm a Joey Logano fan. I'm a piece of shit, according to a lot of NASCAR fans. But even though the playoffs indirectly led to his title this year, I can't defend playoffs in a motorsport. It just doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't know why. For those that may not know, Joey Logano has an average finish, and the lowest average finish ever since the playoffs have been started, I think, or just of any champion ever.
Yeah, I believe
I
it
think
was like 15th.
No, I think
16th.
it's 17.1, I think, is the average finish position. That is not the average finish position of a champion. I think the next highest was, I think it was Ryan Blaney at like 15.
Well, it's
or
worth noting
14.
that Ryan Blaney's was last year at like 15 or 16, but nobody seems to care about that.
That's what I just
And
said.
it's very much bias. It's very much bias.
For
Just
me,
people
it's
don't
just
Joey
like,
Logano.
I still think that even Ryan Blaney didn't really deserve the championship. He had a good run, he had a good season overall, but he does not deserve a championship. But arguably anyone in the current playoff format doesn't deserve one, but that's my whole rant. Anyway, supercars. I'll probably just leave a link to this in the description. because there are so many things that they are doing. Oh my gosh. So they have soft and super soft tires. Cool. They have like 50 million different formats as well per whatever race day slash weekend. It's like okay, I'm just gonna read the formats and we'll see if I can do. Maybe this will make sense if I read it out loud. Probably not. Hi, editing me stepping in here to say no. Reading it out loud did not help at all. The 2025 format for supercars is very confusing, and basically less is more. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the link still in the description for all their formats. Otherwise, back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
I think the phrase is I have nothing to say on this because I would just like to point out to everybody listening, all four of you, that Wolf did not plan this. This is not written in our planning or anything. I have no idea what he's going on about. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, welcome to the new supercars format, which it's a format, that's for sure.
We haven't even gotten into World RX and WRC.
Oh, wait, yeah, sorry, go ahead. That's my bad. I'll let you go. Oops.
All right, well, you seem more interested in World RX and WRC, so I'll let you take that one. I'll take WRC if you'd like to start.
You just said I was interested in both. I was interested in both. Also, don't you
Shut
have
up.
like 50 million tabs for all
I've
of
been
them
closing
open?
them. I've been closing them as we go along. I've only got 5 tabs open now.
Okay then. Well, anyway, WRX is this week. Next week. Soon. TM. Yay. I am excited because I have not seen anything about. This is going to be the fun thing too, where I will constantly get WRX and WRC confused. Because yes, I know it's World RX for World Rallycross, and yes, I know WRC is the World Rally Championship. They're just so close in format, and I would like to do WRX to shorten it because it just makes sense that way. But typing out World makes sense. But this week, next week, gosh, times are very difficult today. Let's try this again.
You're
Soon
good
TM.
at this.
It's fine. Soon TM is the World RX schedule, which has not been updated on Rally TV, which is hilarious. But on the main website, it is there. So we have the World Rallycross of Canada on the 23rd through 25th of January. Awesome. Then they go to Hungary in April, and then Portugal in May, Great Britain in also May / the first day of June, Finland in June, Sweden and Turkey in July. Turkey is subject to the ASN application of the FIA International Calendar, which I guess is their way of saying homologation. And then World Rallycross of Australia ending in November? Hold on. Wait, so you mean to tell me we go through January, we have like a 2-month break in February and March, and then we have Spain races in April, May, June, July, and then there's nothing until November?
Well, if you think about it, they're doing at least something smart, and they're avoiding the mistake F1 did by putting Qatar at a very hot climate. I mean, Australia in like June or July
That's fair.
would be a nightmare.
I
Now,
wonder
I
why
mean,
not at least
now I don't understand why
October.
they wouldn't just. Now I don't understand why they wouldn't just switch Australia and Canada, maybe, but whatever.
Or maybe like move Australia into like October at least, but I don't know
Or
the climate.
just something that makes more sense. I don't know.
Yeah, but otherwise I'm still excited because it would be the first time I'm watching World RX, and I mean, I don't think there's going to be any. I don't think there's formats yet for World RX, but there apparently is, which I'm just now quite literally learning that there is World RX 2E and then Euro RX1 and Euro RX3. So that's going to be fun. They also race in wet conditions. Awesome. Ah, right. Okay, yeah. RX2E is what I thought it was. Electric World RX cars, which I've seen clips of. So that is going to be genuinely intriguing to see how that performs. Euro RX1, Euro RX3 are also 2 series that exist. So going to be a fun weekend.
Indeed. Moving on to WRC and Rally Monte Carlo coming up, which I made this point to you earlier. But as usual, it's going to start. The ceremony will start from the casino square down in the city and all that. But I just don't understand. It's Rally Monte Carlo. Give us a rally stage in the city. I think that would be awesome. I don't care. That doesn't make sense. I think it'd be awesome. I want to see it happen. I mean, they close down the entire city for multiple weekends a year for racing. I don't feel like closing it down for one more day for a rally stage would kill anybody, but I don't know.
The very interesting thing too is that they have the shakedown on the 22nd. We have ceremony that starts in the Casino Square, and then actually on that reasonable time. So I think it would be. I'm pretty sure this is converted already to my time, so I have to convert to East Coast time. I think it's.
You don't have to do that. I have East Coast time.
Oh, never mind.
Nerd. Yeah, so the shakedowns will be 10 a.m. Wednesday, January 22nd, Eastern Time. And then starting at 7:30 a.m. the next day, we have the pre-show and all that good stuff. 8:30 a.m. would be the ceremonial start, and then at noon would be the first stage. And that will just continue all the way down until 6 a.m. Eastern Time, Sunday, January 26th, with stage 18 to end the rally. So the 18 stages should be a lot of fun. Rally Monte Carlo is always fucking nuts. I would like to point out, I noticed on Rally TV website, the kind of brief introduction, I guess you'd call it, they have for the rally is written very strangely. It makes sense if you think about it, but then if you don't think about it, it's also really, if you think about it, I'm gonna try it again. It's written very strangely. Basically, it mentions that it's the most unpredictable rally of the year, which is very true. Talk about relatively straightforward asphalt roads in the French Alps, which can be complicated by winter weather. It's very true. There's usually ice patches just kind of randomly on the stages, which is always fun. Everybody loves ice.
Amazing.
Wolf would never understand ice. He can't.
It snowed
Can't
here
comprehend
one
it.
year. What do you mean?
He can't comprehend ice. Don't listen to him.
Okay.
But moving on to the next line of this, which I think is really funny, it mentions that frequently the skill to drive slowly as fast as possible is the key to success. I'm not kidding. That is literally what it says if you look at the preview for Rally Monte Carlo. If you're looking at the schedule, that is what it says on the page. And if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. But then if you think about it more,
that's like one step below the Will Buxton thing that we've been seeing. Is just like the format of that joke is like, in order to drive fast, you have to drive fast or something like that. But this is another level of that.
It's very much giving you have to turn right to turn left. Hudson Hornet. But the only difference is that part's right. I don't know what they're going for here.
The skill to drive slowly as fast as possible. That sounds like literally anybody on the interstate.
Oh, we have two more little pieces we have one more piece of F1 news we didn't quite cover. I'm not sure if you'd necessarily call it news, more of just a reaction maybe. Sergio Perez was talking about how he didn't really apparently expect to be kicked from Red Bull. I don't understand that at all, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was, I think in that article too, from F1 themselves, had said he got 9 points in the last 8 races. What do you mean you didn't expect to get dropped? Like,
I know he talked a lot about, I have a contract, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, that's not how it works. You should know. You've been in the sport long enough to see. Yeah, you've been in the sport long enough to see what happens if you don't perform. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I don't get it. I think he's taking like a 6-month sabbatical and then like he'll decide, but
I would like to see Perez get another shot at it because he is a good driver. He's just not meant for Red Bull. Maybe Cadillac will pick him up. I don't know.
Maybe Cadillac. I don't know.
It's hard to say. I think if Cadillac is going to sign a veteran driver, I would rather them sign Valtteri Bottas and Sergio Perez. But at the end of the day, either one would be a good pick, I think. They're both very capable.
Bottas. I feel like.
Well, I would as well, but like I said, they're both very capable drivers, and it'd be understandable to pick one or the other. Never forget that Sergio Perez did get that Red Bull seat for a reason.
That's true. He did bring a racing point from 20th to 1st, so. But I still think in that race, if I remember that one correctly, he should have gotten a penalty for making contact, but that's just me.
Oh yeah, the one race, right? Yes.
But yeah, for Supercross, I'll see if I can. Like they do weekly events, so I will likely fall off of giving all the updates. Interestingly, all of these events are on Peacock, so I have absolutely zero problem just launching Peacock and then watching it there. But there are very few TV. I don't know what the first race had, but we have the Detroit, Michigan event on NBC. The Seattle Washington event is on NBC. Philadelphia, East Rutherford, New Jersey, and Denver, Colorado, all on NBC. And then the championship round is on the USA Network. That is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe, if not 6, if not 7 of the 17 rounds on TV. I get the usefulness of Peacock, but NBC are kind of fumbling the bag here.
Nobody uses Peacock.
I know, that's why they're
You remember,
fumbling the
you remember
bag.
you remember when everything was on Netflix? That was awesome.
Gosh. Speaking of Netflix, that's a side tangent, but yeah, WWE's on Netflix now, partially, kind
Oh,
of.
this is a motorsport podcast. Be quiet. Leave your shirtless men at the door.
Hi, I'm back again, just to add one more thing, that there is an article that was here, but again, also cut for time. It was about Toyota maybe, allegedly, possibly having an F1 return, but also not really. Anyway, we move on.
So what I'm hearing is that Toyota is gradually moving towards a full-scale F1 return, but they are actually not at all moving towards a full-scale F1 return, and this whole article was a waste of time.
I think so, but I think the whole thing is just like, there is a chance after 2030. However, probably not.
There's
It
a chance I'm in
depends.
F1 by 2032, but let's fucking be real here.
Well, I'm going to be in F1 by 2031, so fight me.
Okay, what's your address, nerd?
Wait, no, hold on.
Fight you right now.
No.
Fight you right now.
But yeah, with that, I knew there was something I was missing, and that's what it was. But aside from that, that's now what does it after a few 50 million tangents. It's fine.
This is what happens when two people who very much are not near a typical Starter Motorsports podcast and try to make it structured.
Structure? Hardly know her.
We don't know her. We don't know her.
Well, that does it. So we're going to go. So we shall see you sometime in whenever the next episode is.
Indeed.
Yeah, so bye. Enjoy your day or evening or time zone.
Enjoy your current 24 hours. That sounds ominous. I shouldn't phrase it like that.
Nope, too late. We're rolling with it.